basketball.
I say good for baseball. I think it's entertaining when there's home runs.
So do I. Juice that ball. I don't care.
Yeah.
Those are your half out. Put that as a headline.
Bring it. Yeah, there's the new headline that people aren't going to want to hear. Briscoe, you're well aware I'm willing to die on a hill for this.
You are going to die on this hill.
And Richard Jefferson is going to join us now. He'll join Mike Greenberg on Get Up at the top of the hour. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, RJ. There's a world-class player in Kevin Durant coming off a devastating injury for NBA players. It's over $100 million of a virtual unknown. Why are the Nets considered runaway winners with a Durant that most people seem to forget won't play next year, and who knows what he'll be coming back as?
Well, look, you used the word earlier, irresponsible, and there's times to be irresponsible. Look, bachelorette parties, birthdays, prom night. There are nights. And last night was a night for the Nets to be somewhat irresponsible. And I mean that in the best way possible. If you're going to take a chance on a 7-foot shooter. Take a chance on a guy that, even if he doesn't have the exact same mobility, he has no problem raising up and getting his shot off over shorter players. This is not Kobe Bryant we're talking about. Kobe Bryant at 6'6", when his athleticism kind of changed, he struggled to really get his shot off. This is a 7-foot guy that, even if his athleticism goes away, he is still one of the best shooters. If he doesn't come back as the same quickness and the same athleticism, he'll still be one of the top 10 players. So the Nets got a top 10 player regardless of what, his injury is really going to be. But if he comes back healthy, they got themselves a top 5 player.
Would you agree, though, that in this conversation we've been having about free agency, that maybe the fact that Durant's injury is present has been overlooked just a bit?
No, I don't think so, because all the things that I just mentioned is why I think his injury is a little different. You even look at Achilles injuries of the past, recently Chauncey Billups or Boogie Cousins. All of these guys, they needed that athleticism. They needed that quickness, or their margin was a lot smaller than I think Kevin Durant. I think with him and the talent that is on the Nets team, including Kyrie, I think this is a safe bet for them, and I think it was one that they were not going to waver on, whether he was healthy or not healthy.
By the way, what kind of prom did you guys have at Phoenix Moon Valley? My goodness.
We had a very, very nice prom, and again, there are things that you talk about on television and things that you don't talk about, but I had a very, very nice time. My prom date, Selena Collins, she was amazing.
This is great.
Poor Selena.
Yeah, RJ, take the rest of the day off. NBA
I'm done. My day's done.
It's just the Randall agreement, striking a 2-year, $31 million deal with forward Bobby Portis and a 2-year, $20 million deal with 10-year veteran Taj Gibson. So the statement in wake of not getting Kyrie or Kevin Durant, Steve Mills released this. It said in part, while we understand that some Knicks fans could be disappointed with tonight's news, we continue to be upbeat and confident in our plans to rebuild the Knicks to compete for championships in the future through the draft, targeted free agents, and continuing to build around our young core of players. So let's look at something the Knicks have done over the last couple of years. The season began with billboards of Kristaps and free agent to be Kevin Durant at the world's most famous arena. But then a blockbuster deal in January to get rid of Kristaps opened the door for the team to have $70 million in cap space for free agency this year, thinking that they would be very active. The team then went into tank mode, finishing with the league's worst record, despite having a 14% chance to land the number 1 overall pick. Ended up going to the Pelicans. And look, it's just one of those things where, Nicole, the Knicks just couldn't get a break during the season, in the season, off season, all of it.
Tanking, not always the best move. Look, our front office insider, Bobby Marks, is here, also a man that does not sleep at this time of the year. There are so many things. It was like the snowball that just started going down the mountain. Where did this all go wrong for the Knicks?
Well, I think where it went wrong is that we underestimated how, when you put a team together like Brooklyn was able to do, as far as the young parts, the young players like Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, something that New York didn't have to sell in free agency, that the big market doesn't have the appeal unless you have that, that roster put together. And this will come, right? I know Knicks fans,
it will.
They don't want to hear it right now, but they are 2 years behind where Brooklyn is right now. And if they can wait to the summer of 2021, and focus on player development and don't skip the steps in rebuilding with R.J. Barrett, they will be in position again. But it's gonna take a little bit of while. And I think it's a wake-up call for New York, that just because you are in New York City doesn't mean you're going to get one of these A-list all-stars.
Like, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I don't blame Knicks fans for being sort of about all of this. They've won one playoff series in 19 seasons, and they've been hearing the let's just wait part of this for a long time. Look, the part of the discussion this morning, Matt's going to die on this mountain. I don't blame Dolan for not wanting to offer a guy a max contract that's coming back from Achilles. There's got to be a pros and cons list that is created when you're having these discussions within an organization. If you were doing that, what would your pro and con list look like?
Well, I think we'll start with the cons right now. And I think when you look at the track record of Achilles injuries, it's not great, right? We can point to DeMarcus Cousins in New Orleans coming off that injury. Cousins has still struggled, certainly with different various injuries. I think when you look at the contract is not insurable now. I think that's a big part of it, that if he had the injury with Brooklyn, they would be able to get about half of that money back. And I think you look at it's a $30 million plus cap hit. So what happens if Durant, let's say, cannot play in the future here, that you have that money on the books? Let's go to the pros here. And I would have done it.
Kevin Durant.
Hey, it's Kevin Durant. It's a top 3 player in the NBA. Who wouldn't want to take him on, even if you're taking on $130 million? I think the one wild card here is Dr. Martin O'Malley. Okay, nobody knows who Dr. Martin O'Malley is, but he is the Nets team doctor. He's the man who operated on Kevin Durant's Achilles. He operated on him in Oklahoma City.
With the Jones fracture.
So there is already a comfort level here. He's about 2 miles away from Brooklyn for Kevin to continue his rehab here. And then the other thing, Nicole, is that we look at the 2020 free agent class. It is not a great class. I mean, Anthony Davis will be likely to be off the board. Now we're looking at a player like Draymond Green. So for Brooklyn, this is their 2020 free agent edition.
The Nets can join the 2014-15 Cavs as the only teams to add 2 players who were on the All-NBA team the previous season. How many hours of sleep?
2.
You can survive on that. He's our ace.
Do you
have any ideas?
Who won yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. There's no official score in free agency, though.
Fact.
Nets are winning. Who are we kidding? They're the New York team getting all the goods in NBA free agency. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan. Durant and Irving, according to Woj, will take less money to make room for Jordan's contract. Keep in mind, 3 years ago, the Nets were the worst team in the NBA. Oh, how things can change.
Oh, and quickly, too. Kyrie out, Kemba Walker in. Kemba agreed to sign a 4-year, $141 million deal with the Celtics. Excel Sports agents Jeff Schwartz told our Adrian Wojnarowski the deal is a part of a sign-in trade with the Hornets, who are adding point guard Terry Rozier.
And then there's a new lineup in Philly, too, and part of it is Tobias Harris agreeing to stay. 5 years, $180 million, according to Woj. And the new guy is Al Horford, leaving the Celtics for the Sixers on a deal that's 4 years and could be worth $109 million. That's Woj.
And Jimmy Butler is going to be part of a sign-in trade with the Heat, sending the Sixers All-Star to Miami in exchange for Josh Richardson, who is headed to Philadelphia as a part of the deal. Kind of an undercard signing yesterday. The Mavs agreed to a 5-year, $158 million deal with Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis acquired in a trade in January from the Knicks. Remember, they freed up that money to get some cap space to maybe make a move.
How'd that work out?
Not well. He's recovering from a torn ACL.
The Warriors are trying to finalize a deal that will send the former Finals MVP Andre Iguodala to the Grizzlies. And they're going to get D'Angelo Russell with the extra money. 4 years, $117 million. It's a maximum contract. Again, it's Woj. The deal includes a protected 2024 first-round pick. Look, it's a 3-team trade. It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
So the moves are still pending. The Warriors swapping out Kevin Durant for D'Angelo Russell marks the 4th time a team has swapped one All-Star for another following a finals loss. So what is Russell bringing to the Warriors? Second Spectrum says he shot 39% on catch-and-shoots threes, just 1% lower than Klay Thompson.
The others in free agency, a couple of people staying put, including $2. Chris Middleton is staying 5 years, $178 million. And Brook Lopez, 4 years, $52 million. Again, all things according to Woj, including the Bucks trading Malcolm Brogdon to the Pacers. Indiana is giving up 1 future first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. Brogdon is going to sign a 4-year, $85 million deal with the Pacers. J.J. Redick is taking his skills to New Orleans. The Pelicans are signing him to a 2-year deal, $26.5 million for Redick. And then back to Indiana because the Pacers are losing Bojan Bogdanovic. He's going to the Jazz, 4-year, $73 million deal. And then everyone's favorite Bulldog is actually staying put. Patrick Beverley is going back to the Clippers, 3 years, $40 million. At some point, the money doesn't seem real. It's like monopoly money because not all people, at least most people on the real planet Earth, we can't relate to that. It's $2.9 billion. Like if they all pooled their money together, here's what they could get. One of 25 NFL franchises, you could buy the Mets for $2.3 billion or less, and then you could buy the world's second largest, most expensive yacht, $1.9 billion.